Welcome to Often Pacing on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport. Tim Walker will be joined by Matt Young and Oliver Cownie as they delve into the form for today's Pinjarra harness meeting, as well as an early look at tomorrow's meeting at Gloucester Park. We are Often Pacing.
Great to have your company wherever you might be listening in to Often Pacing this morning. Plenty to work through on the program. We've got Matt Young and Ollie Cownie standing by, and Shane Young's going to join us as well off the back of success in Friday night's free-for-all with Wonderful to Fly. 6-year-old mare able to get another good win on the board, another really good win on her CV. We're going to get to him from 9:20, but let's welcome in our experts that we want to hear from this morning. Ollie Cownie, good morning to you.
Morning, Tim. Good to be on. Been some great racing in the past week.
There certainly has, and fresh from a little bit of a recovery swim as far as I'm aware. Matt Young, hello to you.
Yes, hello, Tim. Good to talk to you for the first time today.
Yeah, now tell us, Matt, what, and Ollie's very keen, and I'm sure our listeners are as well, why were you in the pool doing recovery this morning?
Because I'm 33 and I decided to play a game of football on the weekend, Tim.
Yes.
And I pulled up a bit sore. Not that I did much, but I haven't played in a long time, and there's muscles that are sore that I didn't know that was still there.
Where are you most sore, Matt? Is it the calves? Is it the old man areas?
Yeah, it's definitely the old man areas.
Yeah.
Left quad is actually quite sore, but yeah, it's a little bit of everything. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm fine, but I thank Hayley for passing on that information to you.
It's important information. But you got the win. That's the most important part.
Yeah, I'd like to say I helped, but I didn't do much. So, look, I was out there. That was the main thing.
Were there any other
I had a great time.
Good. One more. Any other celebrities on the team that performed well?
Well, Dean Miller's just a human wrecking ball. He was out there.
Yep.
And talk about pain that I might have. I think he's torn his calf and he just kept playing. So he's different areas, that boy. And Mitch Miller got around without any concussion. So that's a huge positive for him. He wears the helmet. He's Caleb Daniel.
He wears the helmet, right?
Yeah. Well, I think career goals 5, career concussions 6. So he's probably best suited to be wearing the helmet.
Right. Ollie, can you just get the picture painted and Matt running around on the weekend?
Yeah, I'm sure he picked up 33 touches and kicked 8 goals and was pivotal in the win.
Just talking his output down. All right, gents. Hey, let's turn our attention to the harness racing. Hey, before we talk about Gloucester Park, Friday night, leap to fame. Ollie, to you firstly, it was a crowning moment for him, wasn't it?
I think the main takeaway from that Miracle Mile performance, although, there was plenty of merit in the defeat, second to Don Hugo, I think the main takeaway was certainly that maybe Grant just didn't apply enough pressure to the leader, and he was coming again on the line, and the leader just dashed up the straight and was too good. And he certainly made amends for that error on Friday night. And as soon as he got around after being 3 wide for nearly a lap, he just poured it on the whole way, and he pretty much just broke Don Hugo. Don Hugo was, pretty well beaten in the end there, and Leap to Fame raced away, and the horse chasing him had a soft run the whole way around, Chase a Dream, and he just got nowhere near Leap to Fame. He was pulling away the line. He's just a truly incredible horse, and he's now sort of moving into that area where, people are talking about him as potentially one of the greatest of all time.
What's your take on it, Matt? Does he fit that category?
Yeah, he does. I'm a huge fan of Leap to Fame, and I just love watching him race. I love the way that he goes about it, and he's. I don't like comparing champions, but it does remind me of Black's a Fake, just with even more high speed, that top end speed. But he's just got that same never say die attitude, and he's freakish. He really is. And as I said, don't like comparing champions because they're all individual, and that's what makes them champions. But he's got this speed and this spirit that just isn't broken. And even his defeats, I think that's what I like most about him is his defeats. Is he's beaten, but he's never actually beaten until that horse has its head in front of him at the line. Like, he just never gives up. He's just a true marvel, and I would love to see him come to Perth. So if Kevin Jevons, I know they've had some bad news today. If they can offer up good money to try and get Leap to Fame to Perth, I would love to see it. But yeah, he's once in a generation. That's what I'm thinking anyway.
It'd have to be a pretty sweet deal, I would have thought, to get him over here. But we know what's coming up in his own backyard later on in the year, so that's a pretty enticing prospect for the connections of Leap to Fame. Matt, just a word, Don Hugo, an eye towards what he's going to do over here in the West.
Yeah, I think obviously there's a bit of shine taken off of Nullarbor after the weekend with defeats from Swayze, Don Hugo. There's a lot of travel to get across and issues, and I'm expecting him to be able to bounce back and he'll be okay. But yeah, I'm not overly concerned. I think every horse is allowed to have a poor run. He's continued to elevate through the whole preparation, winning big races after big races. So I don't think it's any disgrace to be taken. His flag being lowered by, colours being lowered by Leap to Fame.
All right, well, let's get stuck into Friday night and what we saw down here at Gloucester Park. And we might stick with the Nullarbor theme if we can, Ollie. So your take on the free-for-all. We're going to talk to Shane Young with Wonderful to Fly, but just your reaction to what we saw, particularly of the Beaten Brigade, and it was headlined by He's a Sport, who made his return.
Yeah, it was a really interesting race, and it looked like it might be on paper a bit of a tactical battle in the early stages, and that's exactly how it played out. Sangre Real was looking to hold that advantage, and it didn't really play in his favour, and he ended up just doing too much work and missing a place. And He's a Sport was just wide nearly the whole way. He eventually got outside the leader, but by that time, he was first up from a spell, and he just worked way too hard. The 28 3/4 was into the wind as well, and It was a howling wind there on Friday night. So I certainly think that played a factor as well. And so a few of the Beaten Brigade probably do have a slight excuse of having worked too hard. Artie by the Seaside, she was pretty good leading, and she copped a stack of pressure, and she was only beaten 4 metres there. And I thought there was a lot of merit in her run. Sangre Real, as I mentioned, just did too much work. Thought one of the really, really good runs was El Chema, and it could be one that's considered for one of the last few spots in the Nullarbor. Just a horse with brilliant speed that can peel off a really good tempo and unleash a really quick last quarter. But Wonderful to Fly it was really good to see her bouncing back. She's been such a good mare and filly. And so, it was really good to see her return to form. And Little Darling was fantastic in defeat as well. She's shown that she can match it with the best mares, and now she's shown she can match it with the boys as well. So I think there's a lot to be taken out of that race.
Matt, we might throw that to you now, because Artie by the Seaside is one of your horses to follow from Friday.
Yeah, it's sort of a two-pronged race, that one. I think Little Darling and Artie by the Seaside are both worth following out of that race. Artie by the Seaside, I think, obviously on a bigger scale. I think what we saw from Friday night has proven that she can hang with the boys, and she's well and truly going to have a really strong season as a mare this time in. I love that run on Friday night to absorb that pressure and still be there at the finish. Wonderful. Little Darling was really good in the same race, sweeping home. She's going to derive benefit from that run and keep improving. Ideal Muscle in the first, I thought he was good. He got shuffled back in the field. The race really wasn't tempo suited to him, but he was able to get into the clear late, and when they were getting home quick, he carved some good solid sectionals late to get into second, and he really powered through the line. So I think he's on the way up, and his last couple have been really good. And Faster Than Dad, I loved his run on Friday night. Yeah, he had a soft run and got into the clear, but I thought his trial was really good against Prince of Pleasure and Sister Sammy. And then the first up run was good. I think he's come back in terrific order, and I'm expecting him to be able to win a race very soon to Michael George and the team.
All right, Ollie, what about you?
In the first race, I had one as well. I thought Menemsha was really good after being checked in the early stages by Ira Poole. Lost a lot of ground there. They were right out the back, and although they did go pretty slowly in the early stages, so didn't have to spend too much petrol to get up to them. I thought there was a lot of merit in the run. It was a dash home, and he was only beaten 9 metres, and obviously he's a quality horse. So I'm keen to keep following him, and I think that was a forgivable run there on Friday. In the second race, I'm happy to forgive. He's never been better. He raced in the breeze, and I don't think it was a night where you really wanted to be in the breeze with all the wind that was around. So I think he's a speed horse, and he sat in the breeze and was only beaten 13 metres. So I think it was a commendable effort there behind Blame It on the Night, who he has returned nicely now. And I think there'll be a race for him soon, maybe from a better barrier than Gate 8. And then the third horse I had to follow was out of the 7th race. I thought Ruby Lou was really impressive there. She zipped off the gate in the early stages, which will serve her really well in the future, having gate speed like that. Then she took a sit on Faking It, and she was just bolting for a run there the whole way around. She couldn't quite get clear until the race was over, but they got home 27-6, and she was still travelling on the line. So I thought it was a really impressive effort there by Ruby Lou.
Yeah, and Faking It's going to be one to watch towards the back end of this year once our 3-year-old fillies features roll around. All right, so the horses to follow: Ideal Muscle, Artie by the Seaside, Faster Than Dad for Matt, and Manem Shah, he's never been better, Ruby Lou for Ollie. Ollie, we'll get you to keep going because your first best today, or your first play at the very least, comes up in the opening event, the Trotters event.
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting little trot, this one. I think the handicaps have made it an interesting race. I really do think Cownie off the 50 metres is going to have a pretty tough task and is likely to be hard in the market. So I was happy to play around him and go with Uptown Lad, who's really just a Pinjarra specialist. He loves this track, and his last few efforts have had a bit of merit to them, and they've been at Gloucester Park. So I really do think the switch back to Pinjarra could be really suitable for this horse. He can really fly away from the stand start and make a light work of that 20-metre handicap. And I think at decent odds, he looks a really good each-way angle. I think if Quigley does step away and trot, certainly he is incredibly hard to beat, but he has had issues in the past doing that. So if a few things play to his favour, Uptown Lad, I certainly think he could figure in the finish at a decent price there. The next one I had was in race 6, Elite Fleet. This horse did a few things wrong on debut last start. I think it looked like it was travelling nicely in the run and, just jumped off stride. But the winner of that race was Manhattan Ruby, who's shown itself to be a quality horse and has since won again at Gloucester Park. So that looks really good form for this kind of race. Elite Fleet draws to have a big advantage on main rivals in this race, who appear to be the better side, and Noble Thorondor, who are drawn wide and on the back row. So I think Elite Fleet off a really impressive trial there at Bunbury, where he just jogged home in 27.9. I think he can get on the front end here and can prove really hard to beat in that race. He's had a bit of early support, so hopefully that all plays to his favour, and he can get a bit of a cheap lead and zip away in the concluding stages. And then the last one I had for us there at Pinjarra was in race 7. This is a horse that's returning in this race, Sonic Chip. I was really impressed by him last time in. I thought he was a horse that probably just did his best work up on speed and was maybe a bit of a one-trick pony. But last time in, he showed a bit of versatility, and I thought he was really good. And he's since trialled. You can't see a vision of the trial, but it looks like he's trialled quite nicely on paper behind Sugar Street and Little Happy Fella, and I can see this race panning out really nicely for him. It looks like a race with a lot of tempo and speed, Infinite Merit drawn the outside, but there's a bit of speed under that horse, and King Seat, he'll probably want to get up on speed. So if they go too hard, I certainly think they could bring Sonic Chip into it.
All right, Uptown Lad, Elite Fleet, Sonic Chip in races 1, 6 and 7 respectively. Matt, you're going to race 2 for the first of your plays.
Yeah, Stapleton, who he's firmed up since the Sports Daily. He's now into 390. I thought he was an each-way play. I liked his last run. He came from back in the field. He hit the line quite well. That was a Bunbury behind Franco Encore. He was beaten 35 metres, so don't get me wrong. Like, he's still beaten a fair way, but a pair of 27s on the way home. I thought Stapleton was a good run, lap race, options draw, just tick, tick, tick. Thought he was each way free hit, so I marked him as one of my better bets on the card. Then we move on to race number 4, where I was keen on Follow My Stride. I thought Follow My Stride could lead this race. Go Ho Joe, not quick. Sporting Grace, not quick. Vibrant. All the 3 of those not really known for their gate speed. Follow My Stride at their best can ping out. I think if she gets to the top, she'll run a really good race. So each way, all day for her in race number 4. And race 5, Joey James, another one that I thought could lead, get on the speed. His last 2 have been good without a great deal of luck. I think he's heading in the right direction. I think this is a really suitable race for him. So I was happy to be with him each way at the $5 quote as well. So look, it's each way all day. Stapleton race 2, Follow My Stride race 4, and race 5, Joey James. All of those are dependent on early speed and obviously map, but hopefully one of them gets across the line and it pays for the whole day basically. So that's the way I saw it.
Yep, Follow My Stride is now the $4.20 joint favourite. So it was at $4.60 a couple of moments ago when we spoke to you on the Sports Daily, but now $4.20 the joint favourite with Icy Cold. But 5 of the 11 runners are under the $5 quote, so it's going to be a really competitive affair, that one. All right, let's turn our attention to tomorrow night, and Matt, we'll get you to keep going because you're going to race 2. You're nice and early for your first early play. Yeah,
absolutely. Tomorrow, I found the meeting a little bit tricky. Obviously, we move back to the 5:17 start, so it's a later start at the program for everyone involved. Master Leighton, I thought, looked one of the standouts on the card. I think he's racing really well. He's got good gate speed. I think he'll be able to lead, and I think he'll be able to win this race. So he's been racing some nice horses of late. He's got good gate speed. He's got the potential chance to lead here. I think he'll go close to winning. So race 2, number 1, Master Leighton. And in race number 4, I thought a little bit of fun was a chance each way. Inside back row, it might be 3 back to pegs, but I thought a little bit of fun sees any daylight in this race is going to go very close. Agree with Ollie's summation of this race too, but I'm just hoping a little bit of fun sort of caught my eye the last few starts, so I think he can run a good race there. So those are my 2 for Tuesday. Race 2, number 1, Master Leighton straight out, and race 4, number 10, a little bit of fun each way.
All right, Ollie, over to you.
Yeah, in that same race, in race 4, I really did think that Ma Beecham looks the class runner on paper, and he wasn't beaten far last start by Magnus Victor, who was very impressive, and Ideal Muscle and horses like that, and it just looks a really big step back in class, and he should get a decent track through in the early stages. Strike Master isn't a horse with the best gate speed, so following Sonic Chip probably isn't too bad in the early stages for Ma Beat Sam, and if he's close enough, I think he can be really, really hard to beat in this race, and it certainly does look an easier race. So Ma Beat Sam, I think he could go around short odds, but he certainly does look up the one to beat. And then in the next race, I think American Typhoon has been really good in recent starts. I thought that effort sitting without cover behind Gelsomino a mile last start there was a lot of merit to that, and was only beaten 3 metres, and I think this race looks a little bit easier. So if American Typhoon can get up on speed again, I think can prove really hard to beat in this race.
Terrific. All right, so there's our early plays for tomorrow night right here at Gloucester Park, and as Matt mentioned, 5:17, we're back to the winter time slots. All right, Matt, Racing WA Harness X page today is the place to be for all of the coverage of Pinjarra and, of course, tomorrow night.
Absolutely right. Look forward to it.
And we'll catch you tomorrow morning on the Sports Daily. And, Ollie, we do appreciate your time as well. We look forward to catching up with you next Monday morning.
Thanks, Tim. Looking forward to it.
Ollie Cownie and Matt Young with us. We'll take a short break. Shane Young to join us on the other side of it.
On Tab Radio, Racing and Sport, this is Often Pacing.
Approaching 9:30 on this Monday morning, an eye towards Gloucester Park tomorrow night in a couple of moments with our next special guest, but we do need to go back and relive what happened on Friday night just gone here. Wonderful to fly taking out the free-for-all, and great to have Shane Young with us on the program. Shane, a very good morning to you. Congratulations.
Thanks very much, Tim.
How good was it to get a free-for-all win against what was a high-quality field there on Friday night? Certainly as good a free-for-all that we've had at Gloucester Park for some time, away from those Pinjarra and Bunbury feature races.
I've been reluctant to put her in the free-for-alls because I just feel the mares generally, it's pretty hard on them, but obviously the pref draw gave us a chance to hopefully get a good draw, which we did get, and yeah, obviously if you're just sitting there doing not much, and there's a chance.
We spoke to Matt and Ollie a couple of moments ago about the breeze and the role that it played on the night and the conditions. So what you referenced there about sitting there doing not much, was it as favourable as it ever could be on Friday night with the way conditions were?
Sorry, Tim, I just missed you.
I was just talking about the conditions on Friday night. Matt and Ollie mentioned it a couple of moments ago about how breezy it was here at Gloucester Park. So was it perhaps more important than ever before to be getting that cosy run like you got on Friday night?
Yeah, I think it helped, and I think that, generally, like I said, the mares probably aren't quite up to the standard of the males in that company, but on the track, we probably didn't notice the breeze as much as, off the track.
Yep.
I'm not saying it didn't play any part, but, that wasn't my mindset when I went on the track. It was just to play it as it came and hopefully we were good enough to either be competitive or, as it turned out, win the race.
When did you think that you had them covered? Was it on the turn for home?
I don't know. She was travelling quite good at the bell.
Yep.
When Chris would get off. That his continue.
We might just see if you can. Sorry, Shane. We might just get you to start again there, if you can, with that answer. When you thought you mentioned about when Chris went at the bell, you went off the pegs at the bell. What was the second part of that answer? Your line just played up a little bit for us there. Yeah,
it was a bit dodgy. He couldn't continue his move, or he decided not to. But at that point, she was actually travelling good because she felt like she would have taken that run straight away. And then at about the 500, she was going well, and I sort of came off the fence and then elected to go back. And once she sort of got into the clear, I felt her sort of accelerating. I thought, well, she's a silly chance of winning, because obviously the leaders were giving them a fair start. But yeah, she was good enough to win on the night.
How have you assessed what she's done over the past 6 months or so, where she's been competitive and perhaps a couple of runs, maybe it's us expecting a lot of her, Shane, but perhaps a couple of runs where she's had the soft run, thought maybe she was entitled to finish a little bit closer than what she did, and then there's been a couple of really good performances as well. So I'd be keen to get your thoughts on how you think she's performed.
Yeah, I'd say she's not the horse she used to be.
Yep.
Which obviously, she set herself a pretty high bar. And then I think initially when we first, in the first campaign, probably didn't have her fit enough. And then sort of the way the programming, we haven't been able to get a lot of continuity into a racing where we could race week in, week out. I just think that she's off a bit, but she was still racing well. But I would imagine there's a couple of runs there where, at her best, you would have been thinking that she should be winning. But, that's the way it is. They can't stay at the top forever. And, maybe the other night she just might have turned the corner a bit, but we'll just see how she goes in the next couple of runs. Yeah,
I was just going to ask that. Do you think that can be the catalyst for her to get somewhere back near her best, which we know her best has been very, very good in the past?
Yeah, well, hopefully. Her work leading, mind you, her work's probably been good all the way through, but I felt she'd worked pretty good the week before that race. And even though on paper the Golden Girls looked disappointing, I analysed it and I felt that she actually got to the line pretty good, and she had no luck in that run. And obviously the times they were running, I didn't think it was a terrible run. So, a bit of luck now. She'll have a few runs sort of close together, which may just bring her to a peak. And obviously it's just, see how it goes. But I felt her run on Friday in that grade was pretty good.
Absolutely. So you mentioned a couple of runs close together. I've just seen the notification that noms have come through for this Friday night. So we're going to have a deeper dive into them. Do we see her this week or do we see her Friday week?
Well, this week I'll assess it and decide. She'll draw wide. But definitely Empress.
Yep.
And I think there's a race on Nullarbor night, which I'm not sure how it's handicapped. It's a bit hard to understand that one. And then there's the Breeders' Stakes 2 weeks after that. So, she'll have at least 2 runs, the Empress and the Breeders, but more than likely 3. And then
Have we got you there, Shane?
Yeah, I can hear you again.
Yep. Okay. Just having a look at the noms for this race this week. So Penny Black, Little Darling, Wonderful to Fly, Nullarbor Navajo, Princess Katie, Sister Sammy, Kushla McCree, Waterloo's there as well, Champagne, Everyone, Dat Lovely and Madam Maggie. So they're the noms just hot off the presses right now, getting them coming through. Before we get there, hopefully you're going to head there with a couple more good results under the belt, because you've got representation here tomorrow night at Gloucester Park. So first and foremost, we'll start in race number 5. Little Miss Molly has drawn barrier number 3. Did you see this is a race where Little Miss Molly could be very, very competitive?
Yeah, I think that's improving. If she gets, I think she'll run a decent race. But she's a horse that can do a lot of work running at the moment. But yeah, I think she's dancing that race over this field and sort of probably even. I like her, and she's got pretty good manners, so I would expect her to run a good race, and if she has an ounce of luck, she may win. Okay, all right, just need an ounce of luck there in the first of the fillies races, and then at the back end of the night as well, you've got Alpha Jess. What did you make of yesterday? She okay, she got well beaten. Yep. But I think she goes all right. Yeah, she's on the quick backup, and then she'll go to the paddock after tomorrow. So she's come a long way. Yeah, I'm hoping that I can hold the front tomorrow, and I think she'll probably race better in front. Okay. She tends to get a bit fired up on that. So, obviously you got Swift in it, which looks the winner, but hopefully they're content to sit outside me and leave her alone. And I feel that I'd just like to see how she would go in front, that's all. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay. Again, if things fall your way, a winning chance, would that be fair, or perhaps more of a place? On paper, no. Okay. But you would think she could run a place with a bit of luck. But I think in front you might see a better version of her, and I know that at home she shows that she's not devoid of ability. All right. Well, hopefully it can be a successful trip up one way or another. And then again on Friday night, if you do decide to go with Wonderful to Fly again. But great to see her back winning on Friday night just gone. We do appreciate your time this morning, Shane, and we'll catch up with you again very soon. Okay, thanks a lot, Tim. Bye-bye. Shane Young with us on the program just on Friday night. So the nominations are through for the Governor's Cup. I'll read them out to you before we let you go. Magnificent Storm, Mr. Smarty, Soradere, Mighty Ronaldo, Magnus Victor, Sangue Real, Dalve Robin, Wave Rider, Prince of Pleasure, Hoppy's Way, Tenzing Bromac, Jaws of Lincoln, Tricky Mickey, Soho Santorini, Paul Edward, Otis, Waterloo, I'm a 5-star General, Mighty Conqueror, Call Me What You Want, Ragazzo Mac, Talks Up a Storm, The Mickey Taker and Blitzen by 24 nominated for Friday's Governor's Cup, where, of course, as well as the Nullarbor scene that will change there, no doubt, there is the winner of that race, of course, exempt from the ballot for the Fremantle Cup, the Retrovision Fremantle Cup on the 2nd of May. So that is just 25 days away is the Fremantle Cup. So that's this Friday night to look forward to, Governor's Cup night here at Gloucester Park. And we'll be back to dissect all of that tomorrow, next Monday morning, should I say, for another big edition of Off and Pacing, and we'll be less than 2 weeks to the Nullarbor by then. And don't forget as well, the Sports Daily tomorrow morning. We'll have a look at that Gloucester Park meeting tomorrow night, and plenty of Western Trilogy news, of course, headlined by, from a harness point of view, the Nullarbor. Great to have your company this morning. Hopefully there's a few winners there. Good luck if you're having an investment at Pinjarra or Gloucester Park over the next couple of days. And up next, we'll have Race Day, of which Leah Ernest will take you through the early stages.
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.